banter, football chat, and most importantly, absolutely superb poker. Terry, I'll hand over to you, mate.
Yes, welcome everyone. It's great to be here with you boys as well. Thanks to GG Poker for making this happen. I've actually just won the first hand as we're playing here live, so that was nice. I'm already up on the boys. We're going to be talking football. We're talking transfers, FA Cup, whilst playing a little bit of poker here with GG Poker. You can sign up to get your own account. There's going to be loads of prize giveaways over the next few weeks. Up to £25 million is being given away by GG, plus the chance on a few special evenings to play against us as well. So very, very excited about that indeed. But gents, how are all of you? You well? You good?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. I got a little taste of victory on Wednesday. It has been a long, long time since I had it. So, as Kulusevski said when he was playing for Sweden, I'm hungry. Let's eat. I'm ready to eat today. Come on.
Not happy about that, to be honest with you. We are absolutely gonna muller you in the second leg.
Yeah, look, we're going to Anfield. It's not going to be easy, but I think we got a good chance. I still think we got a good chance. I just got to feel like this tournament this year for us, there might be something in the air. Ange always wins something in his second season. Come on, I've got a feeling about it. I know Spurs never win trophies, but Ange has got an aura about him. Come on. He's very bullish about the second season.
Sorry, lads. Has anyone been kicked out of the poker table?
No.
You're sitting out. Just put yourself back in. Just put yourself back in, mate. You should have a little button. I'm not live on the Football Terrace yet. I've sent you my stream key link for in case there's something on there. But yeah, just so that the Football Terrace community can get involved in this as well.
Yeah, that's
should be 3 minute delay in it. So
yeah, 3 minute delay. Okay, there we go. That makes perfect sense. There we go. Oh, why did I just check?
Okay, lads, I've actually been kicked out. I can't click on any buttons.
We'll just go out and I don't know. We don't know. You have to speak.
Bear with us. Technical fraudulence going on.
You can be blind. Henry, you can be blinded out all the way. I don't mind. I'm taking any win here.
Well, that means you're losing. That means you're losing. So we don't care. We don't care. You can't win.
This is his blag way of staying in for the next hour.
Yeah, this is my way of winning the game. But at the moment, I can't move. I can't press any buttons.
Oh, God.
How did I win now?
I'm back in now.
You're back in. There we go. We are live on the Football Terrace. I'm assuming we're going to be live elsewhere as well. Yes. We are live. Let us know if you can see us, people, in the comment section. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to your respective channel you're watching, whether it's Redmen, the brilliant men over there, whether it's We Are Tottenham TV, of course, the brilliant Hugh Wizzy.
Minor.
Yes,
your sons.
Come on, yeah, we're live.
He's here. We are live.
Let's go.
We're liking, of course, speak to Henry Talks Nonsense as well. He's on here with us. Default. We're calling you Default. You're here by default, basically, Henry, because there was a last minute pullout, so it's all good. I'm glad.
Oh, he's batting already.
I know you're going in already. Hugh's going for it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's too rich for my blood, that lads.
I wanted to ask though, while you're sitting out of this one, Chris, what do you make of the links to Kvaratskhelia? Do you feel there's lots of talks that the deal's advancing? PSG might be favourites, Chelsea getting involved. What do you make of the opportunity and chance for Liverpool to bring in such a talented player?
Mate, I absolutely would adore it if Liverpool were to sign him. Of course, Liverpool seem to sign left wingers more than any other position, even if we need defenders, even if we need centre-backs, Liverpool just go for left wingers. It's what we've done. We needed centre-backs a few years ago. We signed Luis Diaz. We needed centre-backs a couple of years ago. We signed Cody Gakpo. We probably need a centre-back now. Why wouldn't we be linked with this lad? I mean, he's top draw for a start, isn't he? It's interesting that it was more sort of written by Ornstein about it maybe an opportunistic one and all that type of stuff. Because I'm looking at it, right, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what type of a manager in the transfer market that Arne Slot is just yet. So for me, is he going to be one of those managers who's just completely and utterly ruthless at the end of the season? Are we going to see like a Luis Diaz, for example, get sold with a couple of years on his deal? Because the rumours are that he wants a big contract and all that. Maybe this could be the foreshadowing of Diaz's departure.
Yes, I did read that. I did read that Diaz doesn't look like he wants to sign a new deal. So you're right. That could be like a really good like for like. What's your thoughts on going head to head potentially with Chelsea again? Obviously, it was the Lavia deal. There was the Caicedo deal that didn't quite go your way.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a bit mad that really, considering we're a much bigger and better football club. So I've always found that one a little bit strange. Yeah, it's one of them, mate. I think they've got loads of money and they give ridiculous contracts out, so maybe Liverpool wouldn't be the best for a player who wants a little bit of money. Lavia, I'm absolutely gutted that we didn't sign. He looks like an absolutely brilliant player at the moment, doesn't he? Caicedo, obviously, world class. So I'd be pissed off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's a great comment that's coming here. Says this stream is way too Spursy.
Come on. Well, I want to ask Chris actually, with Chiesa, are you done with Chiesa? Are you ready for him to leave? There's a lot of rumours about that.
I've got absolutely no idea what's going on with Chiesa. I mean, he's played about 100, it's not even 100 minutes, I don't think, in all competitions this season. Like but the rumours are that he's just one of those guys who, the rumours are he's not happy at the moment, and you don't know whether to believe those rumours or anything, do you? But the fact of the matter is, we've not seen anything of him. We paid like 10, 12 million for him. We thought it was a bit of a mad one at the time, but clearly there's a player in there if you can get him fit. It just looks like Slot can't get him fit.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, yeah. Ooh. A big pre-flop. Oh no, is that a blind? Is that the blind?
That is a pre-flop raise, guys.
Raise.
A pre-flop raise.
What is going on here?
Yes, guys.
Do you know what? I'm cool. I'm going to call in on this one. I'm going to have a little. I'm going to have a proper play here.
Oh hello.
God.
Hello.
Hang on.
Little running flush on the go.
Let's do this. Come on. Let's have a little go. Let's have a little push and a pull.
When I feel something, I feel it.
Shit. Fuck off. I'm out. Sorry, guys. I had a great hand as well.
Oh, no.
Now, was that just Teddy taking the mick there? Oh, no. I didn't get what I wanted, or I got exactly what I wanted. Or it's more likely he's just looking for a flush.
Oh. Well, we'll see.
Oh, here we go. Oh, this has got stressful all of a sudden.
I know. We can't talk.
He's taking the piss out of you, Sim.
Oh,
he was taking the piss out
of you. There we go.
Wasn't quite strong enough.
I know. I literally on the flop. I had a flush on the flop.
You got I had a king of hearts there, so I was like,
yeah. No, I literally had a flush, not a flush, a straight.
Oh, a straight.
I had a straight. Sorry,
my
apologies. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, boy. Obviously, we'll keep it on Kvaratskhelia for a minute. Hugh, what do you make of that? Do you think he'll end up in the Premier League? And are you frustrated Arsenal are not looking at him?
Top quality player, exciting, gets goals, goes past players. Exactly what Arsenal need. So yeah, we won't be doing that. We're experts, aren't we, at getting a couple of jigsaw pieces away from actually completing the puzzle. And dithering in January is a speciality, but I think he has been given a lot of money. So maybe they're looking at him thinking, wait for your injury-ridden players and squad to come back. Add a little bit more.
What's your thoughts on Arteta?
Do me a favor, Henry. Can you turn your sound off? We keep hearing your dealer saying fold.
Yeah, I can't. How do I do that again?
How do you do that?
Go to your settings, young man. I'm sure it's in settings.
I think on the table there's a settings button at the top there.
Yes, I think so. Oh no. I'm gonna check here. No, I hear you, Hugh. I feel, I don't know, the Arsenal fan base, though, you guys seem to be in this. Do you think if you lose to Man United this weekend, it could become really, really toxic?
It's already getting them. He's used up a lot of energy, good energy, I think.
Is he on forward watch, Hugh?
I think that's right. Yeah, he's got to be on fraud watch. He's got to be on fraud watch. He's never been on fraud watch before, mate, but there is a video coming tonight.
Great timing of that question. Fantastic.
It's a rocky little road, but I tell you what, he's raised the level so high that our rocky road looks like a fantastic golden path for everyone else. I mean, I know as a Tottenham fan, you'd love to be in Arsenal's position right now. You know?
Yeah, we were there under Pochettino. He's Pochettino Spurs. That's what he is, and that's no disgrace.
No, I don't know about. I don't know about that. I don't know
Why
about
not? Why? What's the difference?
that.
Check.
Actually getting over the line is tricky. I will give you this. It's okay for him to have done us the service of getting us to this level and not being able to get us over the line. I don't think there's any disrespect in that or any shame in that. It's often the case with, you know, these type of sports franchises that they need an expert, a serial winner to push them over the line.
Bold.
And maybe that is the case here, but there's still plenty of time, man.
Does he deserve the chance to do it, though?
Yeah, I think he does, man, because he's been
I agree.
instrumental in changing a lot about the club.
Call.
And it's more than just on the pitch. And I will say the football has the level and the quality and the enjoyment I get from it has deteriorated in the last, you know, few months. But I don't think that's all down to him, actually. And I know that the signings are, but it would have been nice if he'd been able to have
Check.
a good run this season without, you know, all the drama we've had, let's say.
Yeah. I understand it from both sides. Some people, the thing is, some people have never had faith in Arteta.
Check.
Others have had loads. People want trophies. I think if he could win himself a trophy this season, looks like maybe the FA Cup's the only one that would buy him some extra time. I just feel that this weekend, if Man United of all teams, with where we've been, comes to the Emirates, puts in a performance like we did against Liverpool and wins, I sort of feel as though it could get really nasty really quickly, personally.
Yeah, I just think that's silly. I just think we're jumping ahead of the gun. People are eager for him not to be the one. You know, there's a lot of people who've got agendas who are ready for Arsenal to fold. I think it suits the rest of the league. It definitely suits everyone else. The fan bases. There's obviously not everyone is comfortable with Arsenal doing as well as they have been, but the difference, like you said, is a trophy. And at the end of the day, he said it himself. If he doesn't win a trophy, you know, not only will questions have to be asked, but I would presume that they'll be thinking about, is he the right man for the job? Because they've invested a hell of a lot of money in him in an incredibly short amount of time. I looked at some stats the other day saying 750 million euros in what, 4.5 years, compared to 900 million, for Wenger in 21. And obviously,
if he doesn't win anything this season, let's say you get dunked out the FA Cup by Man United this weekend and you don't win anything, and let's say you finish third, would you sack him?
Bold.
I would actually start to think again. I don't think it's, you know, that's a very short-sighted way of looking at things in my eyes. Maybe, yes, maybe, but I don't think that's actually the core of the problem then. I think, again, we have to look at the board. Are they serious about getting the club over the line and becoming a big entity and, you know, trophy-winning team? I think that the jury will be out on that, because we've had a few occasions now where it looks as though the direction has been lost. Like Edu leaving is massive for me. It shows that something's not quite right. And
there's rumors I read today that Edu was worried about Arteta's increased influence. Is he becoming a bit of a dictator, you reckon? Is any chance of that happening with Arteta? Control orientated.
Definitely a control freak, but you know, I actually don't think that's bad. I like power centralized personally. I prefer there to be not too many, you know, bureaucratic levels for you to get through for things to get done. I'm okay with that. However, you know, there is the danger of that. We've seen that people felt like Wenger had too much power, and we are where we are. I'd say there's plenty of people who are looking back in hindsight and thinking that they wish they'd gone about things differently, given that the man gave us an identity, such an identity that, you know, maybe the older generation, I just about touched George Graham. So I've seen Arsenal when we were ugly, you know, 1-0 wins, scraping 1-0 wins in scrappy pitches and whatnot. But football was very different then, and I've grown up with Wenger ball, and I've grown up with this identity of Arsenal that is being lost. I will say that. You know, he has won a trophy. He has won the FA Cup.
Call.
But the circumstances that it was won in and the team that it was won with, I think really should I hope he looks at it and just says, you know, maybe I do need a couple of big personalities. Maybe I'm going to have to get over this thing of like either not being able to or not wanting to work with them, because big personalities are what win games, win big trophies. Sorry, they're what get you on.
Is there any fear for you, Hugh, that without Saka now for a good couple months, that if results could slip to an extent that you're in a top 4 battle, or is you got no fear about that?
100%, that's a fear. Yeah, it's touch and go, isn't it? Really, but again, I still think that people are just jumping the gun. We're halfway through the season. We're 6 or 9 points behind, and if they do go into the market, I don't see any reason why we won't be involved at the end of the season. I don't see any reason why. We're still, you know, there or thereabouts, being in the conversation of, are we as good as Liverpool on our day? Probably. It's just, you know, people have now, he's set that bar to be like, we need to basically be winning every game. And the unfortunate thing is, obviously, you're in a race with a team and a squad who are made up of players who essentially they've been over the line many a time now. And they know they can't afford to drop a single point. You see what Van Dijk looked like the other day. I'm not sure that everybody at Arsenal has fully got that. And I hope that they just don't start to like lose belief, because I feel like losing Saka, they will know like how big of a deal it is, more so than us, because we're super reliant on him.
Listen, viewers, I know a lot of you are tuning in now, so thank you for being here. Get like buttons hit on all the respective channels. We're here. We're talking football. We're playing a bit of GG poker. I'm currently winning, which is very, very nice as well. Am I staying in this game? Yeah, I think I am. I have a little. I'm gonna put in there again. Make sure you hit the like button. You can also join. You can also play. You can also get involved in GG poker. Over £25 million in giveaways being handed out by them as well. You can click the link. I think we've all got it in our live chat, in our descriptions as well. Get yourself signed up. You've got to be over the age of 18, of course, and make sure you only ever play with what you can afford to potentially lose. Make sure you do that. But it is a great deal of fun. We're having a bit of a laugh today as well in this. Oh, what am I going to do here? I know what I'm going to do. There we go. Come on, who's having it? Who's having it with me?
He's got the dough. He's got the dough. Why not?
Come on, he's bullying you. He's bullying you.
I'm
Come on.
I'm doing it. Always. Oi, yo. Oi, yo.
I'm fucking all in.
Oh, and he's got it. You split. You got to split.
We got to split.
The skin of your teeth. Skin of your teeth.
We were the same there. That was pretty good. So viewers, yeah, cheers for tuning in. Anything you want us to speak about, let us know, and we'll obviously have those conversations as well. I'm gonna fold this time, even though I am the dealer. We spoke a bit on Arsenal. In terms of Tottenham, I know Sim, I know you, Henry. I'm gonna go Sim first. You both got very different views on what you want to happen. You're very much behind Big Ange, and you want him to stay. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent on that throughout the whole season. I understand we're in 12th position. We know that's not good enough. We know we shouldn't be in that position. And in some cases, I think that obviously he has to take responsibility for being in that position. You can't shy away from that. I think he's made mistakes this season. He's probably overplayed a few players. And in certain games like Ipswich or Brighton, he's got the tactics wrong. And, we've dropped silly points. But look, I think everyone realizes that after Conte, Mourinho and Nuno, they needed pretty much a hard reset from this football club. We were going in completely aimless direction. We were not going in any direction, really. We kind of had a kind of flip-flop philosophy, going for a win-now manager, but not really backing him with win-now players. And so for me, I just felt like we needed to go in this direction where we've got young players attacking football, actually build a project with these younger players. And basically, that's the only way that we're going to catch up with the bigger sides, is actually give it time to breathe and give it time to build a project, because we're not a club that's going to be spending the money required like Chelsea or City or Arsenal, Liverpool to a lesser extent, to really keep up with the top teams, in my opinion. So we need to do it by investing time in these young players. And so it's going to mean some short-term pain, and that's what we're seeing at the moment, especially with this injury crisis. I thought that before the injury crisis, things were going okay, not perfect, but I don't think it was sackable form. And then the injury crisis has hit, and it's led to basically over the last 8 games, we've basically hit kind of like relegation form. But for me personally, I'm willing to go through that and see where we come in the other side. I think we're showing we could be a very good cup team this season. We're doing very well in all the cups at the moment. I'm hoping once the injuries and players come back, we're going to turn around our form in the league as well. And we've shown this season at our very best when Ange has, the correct pieces. We have actually defenders playing at the back instead of 18-year-old midfielders, and we're not completely hamstrung with injuries and fatigue. We're a team to be feared. We went to had a 1-3-0. Like you even saw on Wednesday, against a very strong Liverpool team. We had a lot of injuries, and we're able to come away with a victory after a very good performance. I think at our best, we've shown what we're capable of, and I think we just need to give Ange time to sort out these problems, get the pieces in place, and I think we're going in a good direction. But knowing that right now, obviously, if we finish in 12th, if we finish in the position we're in, there'll have to be an uncomfortable conversation at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I get the uncomfortable conversation. Henry, I mean, you're the opposite end. I mean, every opportunity you get, you're calling for Big Ange to go.
Tonight, he says, tonight, every day, tonight.
For me, it's look. Sim makes a lot of good points.
But,
however, I don't. The thing which I value in how you look at a manager's ability is if they can tactically change things up. Now, Ange did do that against Liverpool, and I think praise was due. However, there's been a lot of times Ange has been manager, and I think criticism is due. To play this one-way gung-ho when you've got a back four of Spence, Porro, Dragusin and Gray is suicide. It's career suicide. When we've had our fully fit squad, however, we still lost to Crystal Palace. We still lost to Ipswich, even with a strong enough team. And I look at the group of players we've got now, that squad, in my opinion, is equal to Nottingham Forest's. It's better than Fulham's. It's better than Bournemouth's. It's better than Brentford's. But all of those managers have got a manager in there who can tactically change it up on a weekly basis. You can't tell me that Nottingham Forest, pound for pound, have got a better midfield than Spurs or a better back line than Spurs. And it also goes hand in hand. We've had more hamstring injuries since the start of last season by a long way than anyone else. Is that maybe due to the intensity of the system? Maybe. Because we're gung-ho for 90 minutes. That game against Liverpool was the first game I have seen, I would argue, other than Wolves at home under Ange, as well as City away. So 3 games in 65 where we've actually had a more tactical approach to actually have a more pragmatic approach. I'm not saying I want to watch Conte football every single week, but there needs to be a balance. And I don't see that with Ange. And I look at the board we've got. Is it ever going to improve? Are we ever really going to give Ange Postecoglou the right players? Probably not. But you can't tell me that this squad's 12th in the league. Don't get me wrong. If we beat Liverpool, I'll be more than behind him. However, if we lose to Liverpool, the narrative has been up to this. Just give them the cups, give them the cups. Well, if that's the case, currently we're just hovering above, 12th or 10th in the Europa League? And we could go out to Liverpool. So there's got to be a balance with what we're saying. Sim makes some good points. Got a lot of good young players. Like Bergvall, for me, has got so much potential. But there's also a lot of duds in that team. Radek Dragusin can't play it out from the back to save his life. But I don't know where rival fans kind of sit with Ange, because for me, I just think that it's a walking time bomb.
Yeah. Come on, Chris, you've gone all in here.
Mate, I've got absolutely nothing in my hands. I've got nothing.
The bottle job has begun for Liverpool.
It just had to be done, I'm afraid, because I was the small blind next, wasn't I? So I had to go all in because I was basically leaving myself a big blind left.
Ooh.
I don't think you've got any problems.
Come on, Eileen. Come on. Oh.
Oh no.
What's the last hand? What is the last
he's
card?
slow rolling.
Oh,
2-3.
Two of you out, baby.
2 out.
2 gone.
Henry missed
Days,
the blood
that
red.
is terrible.
See ya. Which basically means us 3 remaining are definitely going to be in the final live in Nottingham in 3 weeks' time. So, happy days. Well done, gents. Well done.
Pathetic.
Good job, lads.
Right, can I just jump in on the Ange Postecoglou debate, though?
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
Because I haven't got any poker to play no more. You can give the wrong man time. You can absolutely give the wrong man time. And Ange Postecoglou is not a coach, he's a manager, and he goes out there and he says to people, coach this way, please. And I don't even think he's got the best coaches. Like, yeah, you can talk about the players and stuff, but is he improving those players? No, he's not improving those players at all. Not one of those players is better than they were when he took over. Like, it's just from the outside
I
looking
disagree
in.
with that.
I think Kulusevski's improved.
Yeah, fair. Okay, one player, brilliant.
Johnson, I think he's improved since he's come in. I think there are quite a few players. You look at the youngsters.
I think as a squad and as a
Gray
team, they've not improved. And I think that's fair to say. Like,
the argument on it, though, is, Sim, is would you not agree that there's a blueprint out there on how to beat Spurs?
Did it? He done it. I thought he might have it, but I thought with 3 of a kind, I thought I'd give it a go. Oh,
God.
I had the money to do that, though, Hugh. Sorry to interject. I had the money to do that. I had the money to do it. Sorry, back to yourself. Sorry.
What's going on here? Is that the game ended?
No. Me and Hugh just went head to head and both had really good hands.
Right, so the table is empty as I'm seeing it.
Check.
Yeah, 3. There's 3 left. Oh, because
Right,
you're out. That's why you're. Right,
Yeah. That's because I think that's because you're out.
So how am I going to get your?
Oh, I see. So the table's empty on stream, is it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
table's empty on
That's
stream.
what I
Well,
thought.
you can't spectate.
I don't know, mate.
That's something we've learned. We're still going to keep playing, but yeah.
So Henry, who, if you were to sack Ange tonight, as you keep calling for, who would you appoint?
Can someone share their poker screen on the Zoom?
Yeah, because I can't see it either. Who would I appoint? That is the $1 million question. Now, who I want to appoint immediately, you're all going to go, nah, you're out of your fucking mind. I personally would look at someone like Xavi. Now, Tottenham notoriously pay managers.
Xavi.
Yeah, but
can someone share the poker screen on Zoom?
Yeah, I've not got mine on my computer, so either Sim or
okay.
Hugh,
Let me try and do that.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Tap.
Check.
Oi. Should have gone in then. Should have gone in more. Yeah. So you want Xavi, Henry? Go back to Xavi. You want Xavi?
yeah, he'd be someone I'd look at. Tottenham notoriously pay their managers one of the highest wage in the league. He's managed in multiple countries. He's won league titles in Spain. He's got a better footballing CV than Ange Postecoglou. He's younger than Ange Postecoglou. So the word project, you can't. Are we really going to have Ange Postecoglou here in 10 years when he's nearly 70 years of age? Probably not. I think Xavi plays Xavi has proven at Atletico Madrid away, at Real Madrid away, and in the Champions League, he can switch things up. Whereas I look at someone like Ange, and other than 3 games out of 65, let's be honest, and I ask this question to everyone, and everyone gives me one answer. Would you say there is a blueprint out there on how to beat Tottenham Hotspur? Yes, there is. You sit back, soak up pressure, and counter-attack. And we don't have an answer to that. And we've proven that against Ipswich, against Crystal Palace, against Wolves, against Nottingham Forest, against the worst Arsenal team in terms of performances, turned up to Tottenham's ground and scored a goal and went, okay, come out and attack us. And we don't have an answer to it.
I just want to say, guys, in terms, I know that. Sorry, I want to. Sorry, Henry. I just wanted to interject. I know that Sim is sharing his screen, but the viewers are still seeing us pre-play live. The viewers are seeing it, and I think that's all that matters, right?
But that's because there's a 3-minute delay.
Ah, yes, that's why. Yes, sorry, they're going to see that in 3 minutes. I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
For me, in terms of the narrative that Chris and Henry were saying that the Spurs have improved, I think I just disagree with that.
Spurs, I haven't had a say on this. I've been up and listening to this nonsense.
Go on, Hugh.
With all due respect, the manager is hilarious. He's hilarious. Just explain to me why he keeps staring at the floor when he's being talked to. Why can he not look anyone in the eye? Is it because he knows he's a massive fraud? And they are incredibly easy to play against. You've lost literally 50% of your games this season. 1 win in the last, 6, 7, 8, is it? In the league. And
we're not
talking
playing with
about
any
you enjoy the
centre-backs.
football. You're actually destined to stay in mid-table mediocrity without winning a trophy forever. You don't get it. You just don't get it. You're not demanding enough.
You don't get it, Hugh.
You're not demanding enough. You're not demanding enough. Sorry. This is not an entitlement issue, But if Tottenham ever want to get out,
Oh no, Sim, you need to we can see your cards, Sim.
Oh, right. I found out. So,
Why'd you tell him?
Right.
Why'd you tell him?
On settings, go to streamer mode, mate.
on our settings on the poker.
Also,
Whoa, we're seeing your entire screen.
What are we going to see on your desktop? What are we going to see? Also, whoever else, if someone could try and mute their thing because it keeps telling them what we're doing.
I think it's you.
It must be Hugh. Turn your sound off, Hugh.
How do I do it?
Right, so streamer mode there on the left-hand side.
Stream.
Down.
Where is it?
Down.
Oh, streamer mode.
Yeah, on. And then apply just underneath. No, you didn't apply it.
Is it? It's not a two-way. It's not a two-way.
There's a great comment here on my channel, Henry. This says Henry is a terrible Spurs
Where's
fan.
it gone? Settings.
Settings. Streamer mode.
Okay.
On. Apply. Now
There
you can
you go.
go.
There we go.
And we're still seeing it.
Oh, you still see it?
Oh,
'Cause
hang on, 1 second.
It's on my computer.
Right.
I'll just wait because the screen is still blank on my thing. I'll wait for it to catch up.
Oh wow, this is
Put it back
great.
on. Put it back on, Sim, so we can see.
Where is it gone?
Just,
Well,
No.
we'll have all of this
You
ironed
need to
out.
not share
The
your
next
full
week's show.
screen. You need to just share a window,
I know. I'm
mate.
trying to. Share the window.
Yeah,
Okay, so let me stop sharing it. 1 sec. Sorry.
Sim, you use a
What's on your-
computer like
oh,
my
this-
nan.
No, this is confusing. I've got too many tabs open. Okay.
You've never. It looks like you've never shut a tab in your life.
There
To be
you go.
honest.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good, right? Joe, can you get that,
And then
mate?
how do I see what cards I have?
They're in a bottom bar, a separate bar underneath.
Ah, okay. Got you.
Oh,
I was doing well before all of this. I've been blinded out.
I love the fact that Sim uses the computer like he's 92. It's brilliant. It is, or a Mac, I should say.
every web page open he's ever been to. I saw AOL.com was the first one open there, you know.
I hear ya.
oh,
I hear
I'm
ya.
making those noises again. Hold on.
No, it's not. I've not
Oh,
heard
it's
any
not?
noises.
Oh,
So
okay,
whatever you
cool.
did, it worked perfect, mate. It worked
Okay,
perfect. It worked perfect. So we can get back to playing now as well, which is great.
Can the stream? Oh, the stream can see finally. We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
great.
stream's got it. Like, viewers, make sure like buttons are hit as well. Make sure you're all subscribing to all of the channels, people. Get that done. And
Hugh, can I go back to what you were saying
yes,
about
let's
Ange?
get back to it.
Yes. Yes.
By that logic, you would have sacked Arteta, right? Probably in his first 2 seasons. Am I
I would
is
have
that
done.
fair?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I would have.
And
done.
would that have been the right decision?
Well, I mean, I guess the jury's still out, mate. I don't know.
Oh, really? So you don't think it was worth sticking with him at this point? You don't know that.
We
You
will
wouldn't
find
say
out.
yes.
We will find out. We will find out because we're very close to becoming quite, in need of another rebuild. It's not going to be too long before our top players are either wanting to leave or are at a stage where their contracts have run down and we've got to either reinvest. It's going to get complicated quite soon. This is why he's under pressure to win a trophy now.
Yeah, I understand that, but he's 6 years down the line. And just still 18 months in. Is clearly that was the remit to be kind of like a starting from with a young project, a lot of young players, a lot of teenagers. Look, as I've said before this injury crisis, things weren't going too badly. Like, yes, it was not perfect, and we were still a team that slipped up a few times, maybe unnecessarily, but I still felt that there was something to build on. You could see when this team was at their best. I think we're a match for anyone. And I think once he gets the players in place, I think we're going to go in the right direction. Right now, it's hard to see that. We're in 12th. You're right. We've lost 50% of our games, and that's obviously not good enough. And obviously that can't continue. But for me, I don't want to get rid of him now. Give him till the end of the season and assess it at that point. I think getting rid of him mid-season doesn't help anything. It just continues the chaos. What are we going to get an interim from now to the end of the season and then start a new kind of cycle come the end of the season? I think it doesn't help anything, in my opinion.
If you're doing long term, for sure, but then expect a rocky road ahead because it doesn't.
I agree with you, and I'm willing to go through that. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to kind of go through that rocky road.
You'll know better than anyone when you lose
100%.
a player of the quality of like Harry Kane. The money that's spent is so crucial, and so often it's so difficult for you to hit the target again with these signings that. You're about to lose Son as well from the looks of things. He's got how long has he got left realistically?
Well, he just signed. He's 18 months.
I know, but how long has he got left realistically? I'm not talking about the contract.
18 months.
I'm talking about whether he's any.
No, he's talking about how good he is.
Oh,
You're going to
probably another
need
year.
a new, again, you're blooding talent, fantastic, but it's just, you've got to capitalize in a short window with these players and managers. And I already think that you've made your mind up about who you are with the constant shuffling. You change your manager every 2 windows.
Exactly. That's my point, Hugh. That's my point. That's why we need to stick with him. That's my point. You're making my point for me.
If that's who you are going forward, then,
well, he's already said that 100 times. It's who we are. That's all he fucking says. We'll get back 4-0 and he'll just say it's who we are.
I needed that. Can I ask you guys about the weekend? How do you think Man United are going to get on away at the Emirates in the FA Cup?
Gonna get tonked.
United are going to get tonked?
Yeah, why not?
Like at Anfield?
I don't think they are.
I hope that they get tonked. They didn't get tonked at Anfield. You know that, Terry. You watched the game, right? You should have won it at the end, but you didn't.
Here we go.
Yeah, I know. Oh. I'm just checking if you think it's going to go the same way as Liverpool fans predicted this time last week is all.
We didn't play Arsenal last weekend.
Nearly got me. Nearly got me there. You nearly got me.
Listen, I think Manchester United are rubbish, and I think every single time Manchester United face Liverpool, they're going to get up for it, and I think they'll do the same to Arsenal, if I'm being honest. I think they will get up for it. I think there was probably an improvement from Manchester United because of the training time that Amorim had. I think he's a really, really good manager. I think he'll probably will actually turn Manchester United round if he is given the time and the backing. My major concern for Manchester United right now is, are you all in on him such that you change your entire football club to a 3 at the back football club from top to bottom, from the under 12s or whatever all the way through? And if you're not, that's a big concern for me, for you, because ultimately I think you have to be. I think you buy him for 3 at the back and his sort of way of doing things for the next however many years, and that means that the next manager, if you're doing that and you change everything, has to go to a 3 at the back manager. I think it's a lot easier to stick with a 4 at the back manager, because at least if it doesn't work out, you can carry on buying for 4 at the back.
Yeah, listen,
we're doing it. We're doing it. Sorry.
Oh, you boys are going all in.
Is he calling? It depends if he calls.
Here we go.
He called. Oh, he folded.
He folded.
Okay, good.
You folded. Well, I hope Man United don't fold on what we're doing, to be fair. And I get your point. And we are buying for a sort of specific system. But there are 2 managers currently in the world that are highly rated that play like that, in Alonso and Ruben Amorim. I don't really mind what it is we try and do. My biggest bugbear in the last 11 years is that we haven't had a set style of play that we have tried to that we've tried to work towards. We have quite literally gone from style to manage. Yes, you could argue they all play 4 at the back, but we've done that 5 times on the bounce and we've never got any better, because actually too many of our managers have yielded on their principles, changed direction. We had bankers and accountants buying players, which meant that we were never, ever going to create the kind of quality squad and the continuity of play to create something brilliant. And I look at what FSG did and the sort of the growth from Rodgers into Klopp and now into Slot. And of course, there's mistakes along the way, but there is a uniformed approach. We have to start that from ground zero, as they did, 10, 12, whatever many years ago it was now. So we're at that stage. So I'm prepared for it, and I'm quite excited.
I get that. I'm
quite
think you're
excited, Vital.
But why the Dan Ashworth thing, I don't think get enough talked about, to be honest with you. Isn't that just mental? Isn't that just sort of proving that they're still doing the same things?
Not really.
You're chasing for how long?
Sorry,
I mean, I've actually not spoken to a Man United fan about this. I'm actually really interested for you to tell me why they got rid of him, because it didn't seem like he got a fair crack of the whip there, because he was the guy that they wanted. That was Ineos's guy, wasn't it? Or am I wrong on that?
No, you are right. He was someone they wanted to bring in. And so when people say they look like they're doing the same things, there was a mistake in all of this. And one of the mistakes, the main mistake, was bringing in Dan Ashworth. That doesn't mean his CV's bad. That doesn't mean that he isn't good at what he's done. It doesn't undo anything from the past, in my personal opinion. But it's a case of talking like this when also trying to play poker is a real skill.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's a real skill. It is a real skill.
Really well.
And I think from my perspective, where I feel things are different as opposed to the past, is that the the director of football is in Dan Ashworth, made a big mistake. And that was, he turned around and his sort of projection and his way of doing things was, let's stick with Ten Hag, buy him some players, give him a structure and see if we can make it work. They gave him the power and control that someone in his position needs. They went with his decision and it absolutely backfired. And for me, because...
Didn't he come out though and say that he wasn't happy with Ten Hag?
Ooh. No. It was very much... Hang on a second. Let's see if I'm
there we go.
Wow.
What are we going to get here? What's the river? What's the river saying here? Go on.
2.
What is that?
What's that?
Ace?
It's a Jack.
Oh. Terry lives to fight another day, I think.
I live. The boy who lives. Yeah, so no, I mean, it's been very well documented now, and I get you wouldn't read it, being a Liverpool fan. It was Dan Ashworth's approach. Now, for me, it wasn't just the fact that Dan Ashworth made that mistake. They didn't see eye to eye on a few other things, and it wasn't working how they thought. So where I see it as being different from the past is when we've had people doing that role that have made mistakes, or they see things differently to the manager, or they see things differently to the board. What we have done far too regularly is stick with that person, like Woodward, for 3, 4, 5 years, making mistake after mistake after mistake. I like the fact that we acted quickly, promptly, and said, you know what? We wanted the person, but when they've actually arrived, and I'm sure you've done this, Red Men, big organization, quality organization, but you've employed people thinking that's a good editor or that's a good writer. They actually start the work and you go, not as impressed as I thought. The worst thing you could do as a company is hold on to that person. So I totally get.
But is this not them just going, we held on for him too long, maybe we should go the other way and flip-flopping again? Like, they held on to Ten Hag and then they're thinking to themselves, we held on to Ten Hag too long, maybe we should get rid of Dan Ashworth now.
It's a good point.
Because it sounds like they're panicking.
It sounds, you could interpret it that way, and I understand that. From my perspective, when listening to what was being said, it's more to do with, sorry, I can't believe they sat me out for that. No, they didn't sit me out for that. It's more to do with Barada, who didn't make the decision. They gave that power to Dan Ashworth. Him and others wanted the Amorim approach. So it's very much a case of like, oh God. It's very much a case of, I might as well just go all in here. I might as well go all in. I might as well. So in for a penny. In for a pound.
Oh, a 2. Surely a pair of 2s. Terry again.
What are we saying here? It could be a 2. If it's a 2, I'm done.
Terry on the turn.
Or a 7.
Terry again lives to fight another day.
Give me that 10K.
You got 9 lives, Terry. Bloody
mate,
hell.
I'm out here rolling, defending my club. It's a crazy one. But no, look, from my point of view, I understand where people are criticizing it, and I think there are going to be loads of mistakes in the beginning, and I think we've seen that. I'm calling it. I'm going all in as well. Oh no, he's got 3
no. If you survive this, Terry, if you survive this, Terry, I swear it's fixed.
Bring me a 9.
If Terry survives this,
is it? It's never going to happen.
Surely you're out.
No way.
Come on here. Well done. Congrats. Full house. Yeah, he's done, mate. Well done, Hugh. Well done, mate. Well done. I'm happy with second. I just didn't want to come last. Well done.
I got a third. I got top 3. All right. Top 3. It's okay.
Well done. Viewers, remember.
With that. With that.
So, I think that means to you, we're definitely going Nottingham. We're definitely going Nottingham for the final. So happy days. Viewers, you can play along with GG Poker. There's a link in all of our live chats, in our descriptions. Get yourself signed up. You've got to be over the age of 18. Remember to always do it responsibly. And I'll say this bluntly. Only ever use money that you can afford to lose. Okay. So a little bit of spare change here, money that you might spend on a few beers when you're out. Be safe, be sensible with it. And if you have any problems with that, contact people like Be Gamble Aware and do it and have fun as we have just had. If it isn't fun for you, then absolutely stop. But I did enjoy, I've got to say, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Back to the point of United, I can probably concentrate more now because I'm not trying to win a game of poker. I understand that some people will see it as panic. I understand that some people will call the mistakes out. And I called the mistake out. It was a mistake in the end. to go for Ashworth, listen to him, stick with Ten Hag. That I called it out in the summer. I said it wasn't the right thing to do sticking with him. However, when I look at some of your clubs that 10 years ago started rebuilds, when I look at some of your clubs that started 5 years ago and they're doing well, you look at Chelsea this year that have pushed on. No one is exempt from mistakes being made in the early stages. So although I'll criticize the mistakes and I've got some concerns over certain areas, what I'm not going to do is make a sort of an overarching statement about how good or how bad this rebuild will end up being. And I think I think some Man United fans have already thrown off the deep end. It's like with the money situation. Oh, if we had better billionaires, they'd pay the debt off. Well, I spoke to Kieran Maguire about this. They can pay all the debts off. They can pump money in, but it still gets offset at the end of your trading accounts, which means from a PSR point of view, it makes no odds. You have to increase your revenues organically. It can't be through people pumping money in. So that's why we've got to make cuts. That's why we've got to reduce the wage bill and get rid of players like Rashford and Casemiro. If we get rid of Rashford, Casemiro, and Eriksen this window, it's nearly £1 million a week in salary saved.
Oh, so you might not be able to sack any more dinner ladies.
Well, yeah, listen. And look, I'm not happy about that side of things.
It's a joke, mate. That is a joke, like. Absolute disgrace, all that stuff. I don't know whether it's true, but what's being reported.
So I look at it this way, right? When it comes to the sacking, the getting rid of the Christmas bonuses and the steward of the week £50 thing, I absolutely agree it's wrong. Making certain people redundant, by what I read, it was people whose jobs were not required. And what I mean by that is they weren't saving or making the company money. And for me,
but sometimes the club have a responsibility to look after the people in the community. You know, people who maybe didn't do as well beforehand from football. That now the club is built on those foundations. Yeah, and they need help.
But there isn't any. Again, if they show me that they've got rid of vulnerable people that need help, etc., I completely and utterly understand that. But equally, a lot of people that went were in sort of commercial teams, and it was people that weren't bringing any value in. I don't think Man United have an obligation because they're a football club to employ people who are either not delivering, not working, or not improving the football club.
Does that include ex-players who, as I say, have built the foundations of what that club are?
Like whom?
Well, let's say I don't know the specific names, but the ones who I think were involved were Paul Parker. I can't remember who else, but basically former players who, during their time, weren't able to earn anything like what footballers can earn today, and as a result, have sort of been slightly reliant on the club's foundations / charity work for.
Listen, I mean, I'm not too sure about the Paul Parker story is in the Pacific, but if you look at the Sir Alex Ferguson one, which ruffled people's feathers, I'll be honest with you, a person who's worth 50 to 60 million pound, I don't think he needs to be paid £2 million a year to be an ambassador. Personally, as much as I love and respect Fergie, I'd rather that £2 million go into other areas of the football club. There's obviously some of the elements in terms of charity donations that are being reduced. And again, on the surface, that's horrible. Myself and Mark Goldbridge and others with one of the charities that was affected, we have said that we would do what we can as charities to raise funds through streams to replace that. So personally, I care. At the same time, I still think more context is needed. And I did a bit of research into how much money, not time and effort and promotion, but money Premier League clubs pump into charity. And I can only find data from up to 5 years ago. I'm still searching for more. Chelsea were at the top with £7 million a year being donated. Man United were about fifth on about 5 million. One of the most random clubs sitting second on £6 million a year of the club's donations to charity was Charlton Athletic. On this list that I saw, Arsenal weren't in the top 20 clubs. So I'm not here doing any kind of whataboutery, but I always feel when
that's exactly what you're doing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But I'll tell you
that is the definition of whataboutery.
It totally is.
No, it isn't. I'll tell you why. And I go, it looks it. I'll tell you why it's not whataboutery. I'm not sitting here and saying it's okay for us to cut charity money because we already give more than Arsenal. What I am saying to say an Arsenal fan is don't throw stones in glass houses. We might have made a few cuts, but if we're still giving more away to charity than you are not in no position. And this is what I found with a lot of football fans.
I don't agree with that, man. Manchester United are a much bigger global entity and have been for many a decade, man. Than many.
So Charlton giving more money to charity than you is okay. My point is, I'm not agreeing with everything that Ineos are doing. I never have done, and I've been very clear on that. What I won't do is sit here and have people pointing their finger from a position of like they're in authority. But morally speaking, some of your clubs don't even do as much. We've got people that were having a go at Ineos saying they're scumbags let's just look into what some of their owners have done on and off the football pitch. I'm not going to take I'm not going to have people take the moral high ground when there is none to be had. That's the element for me that I was highly frustrated with. Is of course there are going to be things we do that people don't agree with, but all of our clubs do that. I've called them out, but at the same time,
I don't think that excuses anyone though. That doesn't.
But I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying to people, most of us and our owners, we stand in glass houses. So slow your rolls a little bit, personally.
No. I think we should be able to talk about all that we can talk about. Man.
No, we should talk about it, but let's not talk
they're
about
all as guilty as each other.
No,
they're all letting us down in one way or another.
Hugh, you've hit the nail on the head. I agree. But the point is, I'm not going to have Man United ostracized like you guys are scumbags. You're doing this. Well, let's look at it by and large. This isn't a Man United issue. So
the thing
is,
like, you're right and you're wrong, because you've got to stand up against your club at times.
I have.
Yeah.
And you know, we have done that recently in the furlough scheme when Liverpool tried to furlough their staff. You've got to stand up when your club do something wrong, and not think about the other football clubs at all, to be honest, because they are an extension of our communities. We are the people who go to those games. We are the people who should matter more than anything, and yet we are the people who are shat on from on high more often than anybody.
Agreed.
Now, if your football club is going and making cuts to people and working class stuff, all that type of stuff, they've got serious issues from top to bottom. Like, they need to sort that out. But it doesn't mean that we can't talk about Manchester United when they're the ones doing it right now.
So Chris, I completely agree with that, if that's people's energy. But we can also understand that people don't do that. People come with a very self-righteous sort of pseudo-moralistic stance, and you can hear it in someone's tone. Your tone there, I can completely tell what you're saying. I know my club's done bad things, but the subject right now is Man United. Couldn't agree more. There are lots of people that want to point fingers and pretend like everything that they stand behind is absolutely perfect and their shit doesn't stink. That's where I'll come out and say, well, that's bullshit. We're not going to play that game, but we will have the conversation. There isn't a Man United fan who has called, for instance, the Glazers out more than me. And that's the one thing in this conversation that does upset me, is Ineos are getting the crap for trying to fix the problems created by 20 years of neglect. And I don't agree with all the cuts they've made, but I understand the process that they're going through. We are very close to major financial problems, and this has been on the cards for a long time. And the club has got to get back to winning and has got to grow its revenues. But before the revenues grow, you've got to save money. I wish they hadn't done some of the things they had, and I've called them all out in various streams, and I've spoke about it, and I've been condemning. I've personally offered myself to donate to some of these charities to help fix these matters. But at the same time, I'm very disappointed in a lot of the media making out like this is Ineos that have caused this problem when they're trying to fix the fact that the way the Glazers bought the club and the way they treated United is now illegal in terms of footballing rules. It can never be done again. But there's been something in the region like 60%, on a scale share of 60-1, articles written about Sir Jim and Ineos being scum compared to that of the Glazers. And that I find frustrating. I want to know where the energy was for bad owners for 20 damn years.
I get that. Like,
that's where I get frustrated with the media. I'm not defending Ineos's actions. I'm asking, if these guys were that vigilant on owners for the last 20 years, maybe we wouldn't be in a position where we're making these cuts and we're doing these horrendous things. And it's about root cause analysis. And that's the problem when it comes to these stories. It isn't about root cause analysis for a lot of other football fans. It's let's point the finger, let's laugh, let's say you're scumbags. Let's try and create a narrative where if you do get success, we can say it's tarnished because you did X, Y, and Z in the beginning. And they've got to fix the club. I'm hopeful they do. And I think eventually they'll start giving back more. I think more people will be employed in the future. I mean, what we're trying to do with the new stadium development, if you've seen the amount of jobs that's going to help create for the area, people have ignored all of those things as well. So, look, I'm not happy with everything they've done. I wish that the Glazers weren't involved anymore. Some of the decisions have been embarrassing, but I think as well there is time for football fans where you can look at the off-field stuff and you can look at the on-field stuff as well, and it makes it very difficult because if we're only going to judge clubs based on the morality of things, none of us should really celebrate anything our clubs do if we want to go down that road. So it becomes a difficult one to discuss. But I do get the frustrations people have. I really
thing is,
really
if
do.
you ran terribly off the pitch, you tend to be ran terribly on the pitch as well, don't you? And that I think is also
Yes.
as big a part of the problem as Manchester United have had over the last few years. Hopefully that continues anyway.
Talk about ownership. Look at Spurs' ownership. I mean, we Sim, how much are the season tickets now? I mean, I don't go anymore. What, they 11,
I pay
1200
like
pounds?
about 1,200. Yeah, it's one of the most. I think the most expensive in the Premier League. Premier up there. I think only Arsenal maybe have more potentially. I think on average, I think ours is more expensive.
And aren't they due to go up again next year, where we might not even be in Europe?
Yeah,
I think actually Fulham have got the most expensive
they have the most
ticket,
expensive, as in
and
the
Like, as
most
in a
expensive
premium
ticket.
seat.
yeah,
Yeah,
And then
What's got
Chelsea did that
£1,200?
£5,000 for a seat thing, didn't they? For one game.
How much is it? How much is a ticket at Liverpool?
It's about 800, 900.
Okay,
something
but
like
and
that.
you're pretty much 90% chance going to get Europe every single season.
challenging for trophies.
I would hope.
Yeah,
Challenging for
whereas
big things.
I think one of the main differences with Arsenal is that we get a few more cup games than you do actually, so it's slightly.
But you pay extra for the cup games, right? They don't let you in for free, mate.
No, there's we've got a few more games on our season ticket than
Do you really?
yeah than other clubs. It's slightly deceptive, that price.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So if you go all the way to the final in the FA Cup and they're all home games, you get in them for free?
No, not for free, but there's potentially more games. Basically, you'd have to look that up, but basically there are more games. I think it's like 4 or 5 more games a season.
That's mad. I mean, like Liverpool
is that
this
very across the
season.
board, or is that just FA Cup?
Say that again.
Does that the kind of like the games? Is it likely to be like a European game in there, or is it going to be domestic?
Yeah, it could be European games. There'll be nights where you'll need credits to go to get tickets to go to the cup games, and the more credits, basically, the more prioritised you'll be.
So we had one where we froze our tickets for about, I think it was about 7 years or something. Then 2 years ago, we started putting the prices up again. And last season's quarter final of the Carabao Cup against West Ham was something like 30 quid a ticket. This season's third or fourth round game was like 55 a ticket. And you're like, hang on, how's this season's an earlier round £20 more expensive than last season's quarter final? That's a disgrace. Like, these are the games. It was whatever you're starting when you're a big club. No disrespect to any of the others. I just don't know what round you normally start in. When you're in Europe, you're starting a later round in the Carabao, don't you? So I think it was.
Round, yeah.
I think it was the third round, and it's like, hang on, that Carabao Cup game is the game where you can get a dad and a lad, or a dad and his daughter, or a mum and her daughter into those games. And they were being priced at like 55 quid a ticket. It was an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that I guess from Arsenal fans' perspective anyway, because we were going through the mud, tickets were quite easy to come by for people who weren't otherwise able to go. And there were times during the Emery era when like people literally couldn't give the tickets away. Now, like you said, the prices for those EFL Cup games, that it would be like a great opportunity for kids to go. It's just too much, man. If you've got 2 or 3 kids,
it's
got to be doing quite well.
Do you know what's interesting about it though? Again, I think that Man United for years didn't increase their ticket prices, and then the ticket price percentage this year is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It almost feels, I haven't done the maths on it, but it's almost like they've looked at the price hikes that every other club's done over the last 5, 6, 7 years and just done it in one go, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting one though, because haven't United got the same priced, like the cheapest ticket is the same price as the most expensive ticket, as far as like everyday Prem games go? Is that the case?
Something along those lines. I mean, when I had I boycotted and I pulled all my money out of the club 6 years ago. I felt it's the only way to. I thought the Glazers only care about making money, and I thought I was as bad as the Glazers if I gave money to the club, and I stand by that. I think that
I don't know, but I think they've changed the.
They may have. I haven't looked at the ticketing policy for about 5. I haven't personally. I've only been on the website a couple of times, and managers have been sacked in the last few years. I quite literally stay off everything that's Man United. I don't want to give them any type of revenue for nothing. But it's interesting. Now, my brother's
their policy is like the cheapest ticket is the same price as the most expensive one. I think that's actually, I don't know, it's dangerous because you're alienating that.
No, I agree. You're alienating the working classes it's aimed at. But what I find interesting is, my brother's a Leyton Orient fan, and they like it when Premier League clubs increase their prices. The lower level clubs say it's better for them because they are then seen as better value for money, so they're able to sell more tickets. So what my brother always tells me is when Tottenham and when West Ham and when Arsenal, the teams closest to that part of East London, if they have an increase and I don't know, a ticket goes from, I'm making this up here, £45 to £55, they will see a percentage increase at their gates because they're charging 25 quid. But that's League One football, it's £25 a pop. So they will then, but they'll do concessions for a family. So a family will come along and watch that because it will cost them £85 for 4 of them, as opposed to maybe 250, 300 quid down the road. Again, not defending any club increasing their prices. It's wrong, but this is where football needs to have a much bigger conversation. And that's why I say, I don't think it's small as just saying Spurs are out of order, Arsenal you're out of order, United. I think you need to have a much bigger look at it. If the smaller clubs need the prices to go up, it tells you there's an absolute problem in football, that the clubs in the Championship, but more so League One and League Two, they almost want the Premier League clubs to do these pay increases because it makes it easier for them to get fans in through the door. So I think it's a much bigger issue sometimes. And I know we see it as fans for our clubs. Oh, that's ridiculous. It's going to cost me X amount more a year. But I think there's such a wider financial issue here that kind of gets missed and doesn't get discussed. And I get why. We all focus on our own clubs primarily. And it's just always interesting hearing my brother that they love it when the big Premier League clubs in London put their prices up because they make more money. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's there's sometimes always a byproduct of these things, but it's crazy. And they're only going to, I want to know when a club is going to do something. With the TV money always increasing, the one thing for me is, I always thought what would be a great gesture from a club is say, right, anyone who's had a season ticket 20 years or more, you get it for, I don't know, 60% off, 80% off. Maybe if you've had one 50 years, you get it free from now. Just free, because I don't even know if they need it. I know that they need some money from match day revenue. We saw the impact COVID had on clubs, but they should do something with these revenues continually growing through TV. There is so much more money to be made on social media for clubs now. It would be lovely to see them give it back to long-standing, dedicated fans.
That period, Terry, showed us not only, how much they needed fans, but what they really thought of fans. Mm-hmm. That's what I will never forget. That's what I'll never forget from that period. Actually, waking up to things like tweets from Arsenal saying we're one of the founding members of the Super League. They have every intention of globalizing, Americanizing, and just changing the face of fandom. They have no interest in people that have been there for 30, 40 years, because they're the people that are going to say stuff when things are going wrong. Sorry. It's quite clear to me anyway that it's not only pricing out a sort of, like you said, the working class man, but it's actually, it's more than that. It's a direct 2 fingers up to that local community feel and what a local community club used to offer the people in the area.
They don't want long time fans. They want fans. They want tourist fans who go to the club shops and spend money and buy things at the stand. They don't want a fan who's been going for 50 years, who turns up 10 minutes before the game and loves watching his team. That's not the fans they want, and that's the reality.
Can I ask a question though? What's driving that? And I ask this question because the Glazers
basketball's driving that. Basketball. I'll tell you straight up. American sports are driving this because we have American owners.
Yeah. But what I mean is, all these extra revenues, the Glazers, as an example, while I'll never forgive them, they take dividends, they take cash out the football club. Are the players and the amount of money they ask for not a part of the problem here?
No, of course they are.
It's not the players, but there is money funneling into football. And that money is going to be spent on players. Of course, that goes hand in hand. I've got no problem per se with players earning their market rate. And if you're getting a commercial deal from television where you're talking billions and billions of pounds, then the reason that people are paying billions and billions of pounds is to watch those players. That just goes hand in hand. We've got a problem whereby huge swathes of money are coming out of football. And, that's agents and all that type of stuff. And that's a major issue, but it's not the be all and end all of the issue. I think there's also this mad thing where they've convinced fans, and I've got a comment here actually from YouTube. Someone says, "Let's go 41." Said the thing is, Chris, we're paying nearly 50 million in wages for Mo Trent and Van Dijk on their current contracts. That's got to be paid for. I think the football clubs have tricked us into thinking that our match day revenues pays for that. It doesn't. It doesn't even get close to paying for that. You know. We're talking about 70, 80 million in match day revenues for Liverpool over the course of a season. That's not just ticket prices. That's beer that's sold. That's T-shirts that are sold. That's absolutely everything. You put the price up by £2 to £3 a ticket. Does it actually even move at £1 million? Does it move at £2 million over the course of things where you're getting commercial kit deals for £80 million a season? That's what's got to grow. That's where these clubs need to be better with their money, not hit the fans. Because ultimately, we're the people that us as fans make the Premier League worth watching, because you look at a stadium and you can tell it's worth watching because the fans are showing you and telling you and you can hear them.
Yeah, I understand that. I think, I mean, I get it. I think that the difference is, though, I do think the players are, I wouldn't say they're part of the problem. It's a hard thing. There's a market rate for these players, but that market rate is growing because more people watch the game, clubs sell more shirts, and more people want to go to games, and people are prepared. Certain types of people are prepared to pay the prices. There is an element here of the players are asking for more as more money comes into the football clubs, and there's got to be a trade-off at some point. Otherwise, the working classes eventually are not going to be able to afford to go. And even when it comes to the TV side of things, I use Setanta Sports out of Eastern Europe. It costs $3.99 a month for all the Premier League games, and I just use a VPN.
Sorry, come again. What? Sorry? Hey?
Yeah, I'll message about that afterwards. It's great. But look how much money we in England pay to watch Premier League football. If you pay Sky and TNT Sports, you're looking at what, 100
And Amazon as well.
And Amazon, you're looking at, well, I pay for Amazon Prime separately, but let's say you pay £120 a month to be able to watch football. There are certain people in other parts of the world, and I'm not digging them out, like in Eastern Europe, you can watch it for $3.99 a month. So it isn't even just match-going fans who get charged absorbent, and some other parts pay more, by the way. In China, I think it's something that the app or the company you have to use to watch football works out about £600 a month to watch it. So again, I don't know what the economy's saying over there compared to here, but at the same time, everywhere you go, you're being screwed up for money. So even when it comes to broadcasting, the amount of money it costs compared to people in different parts of the world is kind of crazy. But so much of that, I mean, you got to think your club, like Liverpool revenue is what, about 600 million a year, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
60 to 70% of that is player wages and bonuses and things like that. And that's the biggest driver that's increasing the need for revenue is players.
It's not the biggest driver. It's the clubs in a like nuclear style war with each other. That's the biggest driver, because ultimately, you know, you can have a well-run football club, and I believe that Liverpool are a well-run football club, and our owners have made loads of mistakes, don't get me wrong. But in terms of the financial fair play model, they're a well-run football club, and that's what I'm talking about. Put them in that little box there for anyone saying they're shit owners. In terms of that, they're sound. They've got a really strict budget. None of the other football clubs do. The other football clubs just go, let's just fucking get better players and pay more money and all this type of stuff. And then on the hunt for trophies, this is what happens over and over again. Manchester United are a classic example for some of the player contracts that they've got at the moment. You know, Casemiro, 350 grand a week. It was pure panic to try and quickly shoot up the ladder. It wasn't about a business plan where it was costed out and looking at how old he is and all this type of stuff.
Which is why we're screwed financially.
Which is why you're screwed financially as well. Yeah, that's it. It's a race of arms. That's what's driving it more than anything. If there was parity between the clubs in terms of the money, let's say there was a wage structure or something like that, and I don't think that's a particularly good idea, but you'd be sound with it. Everyone would know what they've got to pay. All the footballers would know what they can earn. You know, if there was just a fat limit on the top that said 350.
They kind of have that.
So you would support a price like a salary cap?
I don't understand it and haven't looked into it enough, but I am a massive fan of the NFL, and I find it really interesting that the biggest hyper-capitalist marketplace in the world, which is the American economy, have taken an overall holistic view and very socialist view of their sports franchises.
Yeah.
And yet now all the American owners are coming into the Premier League. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you know what's interesting? I watched this this guy the other day, an economist, talking about, and this is, I never thought about this until I saw this video, and I'll share it with you guys afterwards. I never had a problem with billionaire owners pumping money into football. I always just said, I always had the view of, well, look, they're just trying to make the club win. Some of that money goes into the local economy. It's very, very good. Essentially, football owners pumping money into the game externally is no different to quantitative easing from the government. It doesn't help the economy. So the way this guy explained it, and he wasn't talking specifically about football, but it translates. If there's 10 apples available on sale and there's $10 in the economy, it's $1 for each apple. He said, but if suddenly money is printed, like quantitative easing, or huge amounts of amount of money pumped in from outside that ecosystem, and there's now suddenly $50, you can start charging more and demanding more people can afford them, and the price starts to shoot up, as an example. And he explains it a lot better than me. He's an economist. But essentially, if you've got 2, 3, 4 billionaires being able to pump in whatever they want, there's still in the same amount, there's still a finite amount of football players, but yet there's more money, which means everything becomes more expensive. And then for some clubs that don't have owners, some owners are billionaires, but they're billionaires in shares, bricks and mortar, rather than having 20 billion of cash in the bank. So for them to start competing, they've got to look for multiple ways of increasing revenues. Some of that is going to impact the fans. You look at the cost of a shirt now compared to even 10, 15 years ago. So again, this isn't me digging out clubs and owners that have done it. I'm just looking at it from a purely economic point of view, that if you get an owner who comes in and goes, look, there's £1 billion I'm pumping in. That's £1 billion from outside the ecosystem of football. There's now more money in it. That will drive up the cost of every player. It will, if you start paying additional wages to get them in. So say Man United's new owners pumped in £1 billion and they were allowed to spend it. And we went, you know what? We're going to go get Kvaratskhelia. There's $500,000 a week. We're going to go and get Mbomo. There's 400. And we just smashed it and signed everybody. Then all players are going to want more money. But we spend the $1 billion on ourselves. Where are you guys getting that extra money from? Your fans.
Beyonce concert.
It's coming from fans. You're going to look to drive the revenues up. You're going to try. You've got to find a way of doing it. So I know not everybody likes FFP and PSR, but after what, and I'll share it. I'll send it to you guys in the group chat later. But it was an eye opener for me that actually I do think checks and balances are probably more important now than ever. And I understand it's the ambition of some owners to make those clubs successful, but at the same time, it does damage the ecosystem of football when this happens. And I'm not happy with how Man United is. For years, I complained about the Glazers, and all I got from people was, why are you moaning, Terry? They spend. I said, they're spending it wrong. They're running it incorrectly. They're running up billions of pounds of debts and interest payments as well, which was another conversation. But what they're doing is bad for football. What they're doing isn't good. Sometimes spending money is as bad as not spending it for a football club. And that's what we've done. And it's probably why I am a little bit defensive of Ineos. Is I understand some of the things they've done are wrong, and I've called them out. Anyone who doesn't think I can't have, and you're watching on another channel right now, go to the Football Terrace and watch the content. It's there. I have called them out, but I can't take my focus off why we're in this position for me. And I think that's what's really important, is understanding how we got here. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, they're doing it now again, though. A lot of the big clubs are fighting to not have the salary cap and the spending cap come into the game. And I think it's fair if you're doing it through natural revenues of the club, but that's why I think football could end up in a really bad situation for the working class person in 10 years' time. If we get to a stage where all owners can pump in whatever money they want, sponsors can be as high as they want, because you will eventually get it to a point where we'll be selling tickets to the super rich, and it will be £400, £500, £600 a ticket to get into games. It will go that way if we just allow unlimited money to come into football. We need to be so careful of it. We really, really do.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah. It's crazy. We obviously started this conversation by asking how Man United would get on at Arsenal. And I
haven't got any predictions.
Yeah. What we saying score prediction wise for that game? What we saying, Sim?
I've got a feeling it's going to go. Is a replay still a thing?
No. Straight to pens.
I reckon it's going to straight to pens. I reckon it's going to
extra penalties. Extra time.
I reckon it's going to extra time, and I reckon Arsenal win on penalties. David Raya will come out on top. So I'm going to go like a 2-2 draw, 1-1. I'll go 1-1 and Arsenal to win on penalties. Yep.
A tricky game, isn't it? Just because tricky one to predict, if only because it sort of doesn't matter how good United are right now. They're on a, they've got that ticket, haven't they? They are under new management, and
you've lost a corner taker.
Who needs to win more?
I think Arteta probably does. Yeah, I don't think that's what I mean. I think Amorim's he's got a freebie right now. He's allowed to lose, if only to take them into the right direction. And there is obviously some trust required for that process. Arsenal, the trust is running. We're running out of trust chips. So, yeah, I do think we'll come through it. But, they're quite unpredictable right now. I don't think it matters how good they are. They are all on board with him and probably trying to save their careers themselves individually. Because, it seems like every single player is actually on the transfer market. Technically, if the right offer comes in, they'll be willing to listen. So nobody being safe makes them a dangerous wounded animal.
I like it. I like that. That's an approach I like by Man United, by the way. We have allowed too many players to be safe for too many years. That's a very good policy. I like it, personally. But
I think he's interesting, man. Amorim, he's interesting. He's I think the jury is still out on him, but he looks young, hungry, intelligent, good communicator of his ideas, and that can only
I do have a question for the panel. Am I allowed to be excited about about Amorim, even though he's been employed by Ineos, who are scumbags? Am I allowed to? Is that against the rules? Am I allowed to be? I don't know.
The danger of getting excited is that you forget who he's working for, and I think that's what's happening with myself and Arteta, actually.
I hear that.
Because when it comes to it, when you need a strong decision to be made, whether that's about an incoming transfer or someone that you need to get rid of or a bad apple or whatnot, you need the support from upstairs. And if you don't get it quickly, people's opinions start to change when it not necessarily should all be on your shoulders. So, if they give him the right tools, then I think it's quite interesting. Yeah, we've got a great league in this country. We're really blessed. I know it's expensive to watch football, but we've got the best in the world, really, all wanting to be here. So it's tricky. And again, I question myself sometimes when I'm looking at my expectations of the club, because the competition is fierce. You can literally lose every game. No, there's not one single game in the Premier League where you are guaranteed to win. In fact, the banana skins are the ones where you think you should be getting the points. Look, that last game with Liverpool and Manchester United, but for a Joshua Zirkzee pass where he did a sort of Ozil bounce for some reason, if he rolls that over to him, in my eyes, even Maguire taps that in, and the world is turned upside down, and suddenly Amorim is well ahead of schedule and a genius.
Yeah. No, Man United fans, we have to keep our feet firmly on the ground, and I kind of was happy with the performance. It's going into this week. I'm a little more confident going up against Arsenal than I would have been without that performance. But I've seen United fans all week tweeting, we're going to smash them, we're going to do them. I just think I believe in the football gods, and I believe in not tempting fate. So for me, Arsenal, they're going to win 2-1. They're the better team. They are the favourite. I'm hoping that we beat them, but I can't predict that. I don't feel that we will. Arsenal at home are brilliant. I don't think we've won there in 6-7 years.
Well, since that De Gea game where he made like 14 saves.
Yeah, I think there was one after Ollie beat them when I think we beat them 2 or 3-1 in the cup.
Wasn't that when Lingard scored?
Lingard scored and moonwalked. And then we played them there about 3 or 4 weeks later in the league, and they beat us, and we haven't won. We haven't won since. So yeah, no mad predictions from me. I think Arsenal will win. I don't think Arsenal. I know they're in average form at the minute in terms of finishing games off, but this is a team that are second in the league and doing well in the Champions League. Man United we are still 14th. So I think Arsenal will nick it 2-1 on the night in 90.
Just defend your corners, you might be all right.
You may be, yeah. We defend corners. Boys, been a great chat. Loved it. Chris, the land back over to you, obviously, because you'll be ending the stream over there. A big shout out to all the channels that have tuned in as well, and we'll definitely see you again next Friday.
Yeah, much love to everyone. Pleasure playing with you all. Love to everyone who's tuned in for the stream.
Congratulations to you.
7 p.m. next Friday, the GG Poker Showdown #2. I really hope that I do better next time. Thank you all so much for joining us. Well done to Hugh for winning this one.
Yes.
Terry
Congrats.
second, of course. Congratulations.
Third.
Sim
Top three.
third. I'm going to go Henry fourth, I think, and I'll go fifth. Absolute loser. Liverpool top of both tables, and I'm bottom of this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ra.